This fighting spirit and determination runs especially strong in Sardar Siddiqui. Sardar was born and grew up in Afghanistan. The circumstances in his war-torn homeland forced him to flee to the neighbouring country, Pakistan. But that wasn't enough to escape the perils of war.
I stepped on landmine, and in that time, when it blew up, and I lost my 2 legs and 1 arm, and it affected my eye, right eye. And, first, people were trying to get me, but I avoided them because there were some more. And then I crawled and went out of that dangerous area, and they took me to the hospital.
In 2004, Sardar and his family finally escaped to safety when they were accepted into New Zealand under the medical disabled section of our refugee quota.
New Zealand takes 40 refugees with disabilities. There's about 3.5 million at any given time of refugees with disabilities. So New Zealand acknowledging that and saying, yes, we take 40 plus their families is a very good initiative by New Zealand.
CCS Disability Action began working with these refugee families 3 years ago.
We've identified that refugees with disabilities living in the refugee centre and then in the communities actually get not the supports that are needed to achieve a successful life for themselves. And we as an organisation decided that we would be actively supporting refugees to make their transition into New Zealand a success.
Siraj is the family's support worker. He himself fled Afghanistan and arrived in New Zealand as a refugee in 1990.
There are enormous challenges for everyone to come here and settle as a new family. Then for those people, the challenge is double, and they need more resources and more support, initial support, so they can well resettle in this country.
This initial help set Sardar in the right direction. Despite the obvious obstacles, he got his driver's license.
The driving license is very, very important for me, which I can support my family, and we can go to the doctor, I can take my children to the school, I can pick them up from there. If they feel bored, I can take them to my brother's house, my nephew's house, and we can go to the mosque, and wherever we want, we can go.
Sardar also studied at Unitec, first completing a certificate in English and then a diploma.
As he progressed through the English language instruction, he was in different classes of mine. But I've never met anyone who's even gone into studying, you know, the way he has. He's had a real purpose in studying ever since he started.
But constantly maintaining a positive attitude can be a challenge.
When I put my legs on, that's really, really stressful, and that makes me sad. And when I walk and when I get tired, and in that time, it's frustrated.
Some days are harder than others, but his faith sees him through.
The mosque, when people attend the mosque, there is connector between the person and the God. And when you think about just the God, not something else, and everything should be left out of the mosque, in that time you will receive more relax. Yeah.
He is a very determined man, and he is positive about, you know, things that he's achieving for himself and his families. And I haven't seen any sign on his face, you know, which would tell me that he is despair or hopelessness or something like that. So he's determining that make our job easier.
Unfortunately, most of the estimated 3.5 million refugees with disabilities are not as lucky. Most will never make it out of the refugee camps, as only 7 countries in the world actively invite them in.
There's an assumption that because somebody has a disability, there will be a burden on the community, and we do a medical assessment, a health assessment on people, and then screen them out. It's a very limited understanding of what a person with a disability can and can't do. And lots of people, if supported properly, make huge contributions to the community.
All praise to be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has created New Zealand such a beautiful country with friendly people. And then I'm thankful for the government of New Zealand. If it was not kindness and support and humanity of the government of New Zealand, I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have a happy life in Afghanistan or in Pakistan, which I have now. And I wouldn't be optimistic about my children's future. If my children grow up here, and inshallah, they will receive good education, and then they will get a job. When they get a job, they will pay tax, which mean that they can support the government back.
I want to be a doctor, helping people, especially poor people, and giving them the best medicine as I come up with.
It's not dwelling on the past, but the future that keeps this man, who survived more than most can imagine, smiling.
In my opinion, if something happened, it can't be back to the normal. And with this, we don't have to think negative, because if we think negative, it creates more health problems. But I'm very, very happy with my life because I have children and I have wife, and I'm optimistic about their future, which is the most important thing.
Sadar is grateful for this optimism and how their life has changed dramatically. But 3.5 million disabled refugees and their families are still stuck in refugee camps all over the world, hoping more countries will open their hearts and give them a chance at a better life.
We honour the refugees who've made New Zealand home, making the most of things many may take for granted. Let's not forget the millions other trapped and find more ways to help. Thank you for joining us on Asia Down Under today. See you next week, same time. This programme was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.